All right. There we go. Happy Sunday, everybody. You guys know on Sundays, the RAW DAO comes together in our think tank to talk about all the things we have going on this week, going on this month, talking about our goals, setting tasks, and kicking our goals ass. Okay, and if that rhymed, I didn't mean to, but you already feel the vibe this Sunday. And that's definitely how I'm feeling going into this community call. Oh, if you guys didn't know, we've actually started to also use this think tank chat over to the right. If you put anything in this chat, it will not stay. I'm going to go ahead and put the things that we'll be actually talking about today, which is number 1, our physical to digital package, 2, our stream team and some updates for that, and then our weekly events. You guys know one of the main things I really wanted to do was focus on efficiency. And you guys also know when we have these community calls, I was also thinking like sometimes I go on my rant or tangents just because if you guys have been seeing, I get asked to speak about DAO structures a lot. And one of the common things that occur is when a lot of people start getting together and then the missions start going all over the place. So during these community calls, I always try to be that anchor to remind, what our mission is, what our vision is, and what those tasks are, and have everybody kind of regroup and recenter and talk about what we can get accomplished so that we are, staying true to our mission and actually accomplishing things. And I think it was really great if you guys had, been a part of that space I was in last Sunday. Again, they had looked at our actual timeline that I had made for that season 3 recap that showed what we did in season 1 and season 2 and what we have coming up in season 3. And again, we really have done a lot, and I'm so excited, and we have so much more in store. So especially with this season, this was our season to kind of revamp a lot of the things that we had kind of put on pause while we were getting our fashion show together. And a lot of this stuff came from a lot of the great advice that we got from talking to lawyers and community managers. And one of the main things that someone mentioned was there's a time to build and there's a time to market. And welcome, Jesse. I'm so glad to see you here. Jesse will be officially onboarded because I did see that onboarding form, and now you're in a community call, which is completing a task. So welcome to the Raw fam. I'll put a nice shout out in our Discord after we kind of hop out. But I'm just kind of recording our community call and going over what we'll be talking about today. I did drop those 3 topics over in the think tank chat to the right, but if you have any ideas that you want to share that anybody else can build on, I would encourage you to leave it in the ideas chat over to the left. So again, just reminding everybody, stay true to the mission. It's great to be building with others, collaborating, and encouraging people to come and build here with Raw as well. We'd say our pillars are educating and networking, and our network is only as valuable as we make it, and that includes trying to grow our network and get people to start building that network with us. So with that being said, I do have a little presentation to share with you all today. So let me go ahead and get my screen sharing. Okay, so let me get to page number 1. Okay, so, and I made this presentation kind of in honor of a lot of the things that we have been talking about. So if you guys know right now, each community call, a lot of the things we've been talking about is our stream team, is our raw world, our metaverse, having events in the metaverse, trying to get content creators into our metaverse to stream their content, and having the gamers and fun tournaments that we can do in there, and parent workshops, all kind of different things that we have going on. And we're just trying to, again, focus this season on getting our actual structure down and tying these different things together. Although we are a new Web3, organization and building a lot of these things, and I think we've been doing a really great job by doing it together and not rushing these processes. Again, it just is important for us to remember to tie it all together so that people know exactly what we're doing. So now we're back in, some of our hardcore building stages. You guys know season 2, when we went hardcore building, we went and built in the Metaverse, built a whole bunch of displays, a fashion show, and then we got to have our fashion show at the end of that season. So we kind of have something like that lined up again for this season, except for it's going to be more along the lines of workshops. So, and you guys know we did that as well for our season 1, where it was, we did New York Fashion Week fashion show, but then we also did our Raw workshop, which was amazing. And so let's get right to this presentation, which is making physical to digital simple for everyone. That's what we are all about, physical to digital. If you're talking about RAW DAO and you say physical to digital, it catches so much attention. People love this idea of physical to digital. And again, as a part of our mission, we understand everybody's going to be going physical to digital eventually. So we want to be setting a standard and being that resource hub that people go to when they are going physical to digital. So that's what we're doing. And you guys know I always like to make things simple. I think that is what makes people attracted to RAW as well, is because we are such about education, such about networking, and we're not overcomplicating this process at all. We're showing everyone can get involved, everyone can use their gifts and enter however they enter. So what we'll be talking about here is where are the resources, what are raw resources, community curated resources, distributing our resources, physical to digital resources, connecting with users, and building. And if you guys did not catch that repetitiveness, resources is key right here. And as you guys know, we have our whole website that we are building, our raw resource website. Our whole Discord is set up for everybody to be sharing their resources that they're coming up with. Again, because I know we have a lot of people that are continuing to grow with us, I never try to assume that everybody understands where we've been. So I always like to tell the story is, once we as a DAO decided that we did not want a marketplace. We were not going to be a fashion label. We put ourselves in our own lane and said, you know what? In this Web3 space, we see a lack of resources, a lack of organizing, there's a lot of people co-creating and a lot of people doing a lot of things, but they're still missing that thing that brings it all together. So RAW is always putting themselves in this position to bring it all together. Even as simple as putting this little pitch deck together, right? Organizing our thoughts, having community calls. These are those secret ingredients that actually make DAOs successful, so that you're able to pitch it to other businesses to collaborate, and pitch it to institutions to collaborate, and all the things that we'll kind of get into with what we're doing with it personally. But I was able to make this really quick because we went deep into actually how to make a pitch deck together as a DAO when we were curating our own, and then showing others how they can do that and keep doing that. So again, being that pillar in this space that brings the organization, that brings these resources, that is what our goal is. And that's what I wanted to make very apparent in that table of contents, all about our resources. So where are the resources? Decentralization is great until you're looking for resources and have no clue where to start. Raw is where you will start and where you will grow, as you are encouraged to also add your resources you gain on your own journey. So what I keep talking about raw resources, but what does that actually mean? So raw resources is a collection of resources created and collected by raw community members and collaborating organizations. If you guys don't know, right now all of that is housed in a Google Drive that is shared and open to anyone, and you can add your own resources there. You can add your own articles, your own videos. We also use YouTube a lot, so we will upload them personally to the Raw TV YouTube channel, or if community members have their own YouTube channels, like say for example Musashi has his own YouTube channel, so he posts it on his YouTube channel, but we have a playlist in Raw TV that's like Metaverse building, and then we save his videos to that playlist, so that again, when people actually go on YouTube and look at Raw TV and see that, oh, Metaverse building playlist, they will see YouTube videos from all of our builders on all their own pages to again help organize these resources. And not only that, but also uplift those resource builders. You know, Musashi, that likes creating those how-to videos, that knows how to use Neos, that helps us all, but is also building his own YouTube page, you know, for being that builder in that space. So that's what we always try to do, and that's why we always try to leverage education by putting our community members in a position where they're upskilling continuously because they're learning and practicing and sharing their resources, and that again just puts them as those pillars within this Web3 community. So talking more about how our resources are actually organized. So we have two different ways that they're organized, which are SOPs and our how-to or educational videos. So SOPs, this is something we haven't harped on in a while, but again, it is that bread to our butter when we talk about resources. So SOPs, this is an exclusive raw template that we made that literally, it's like, if you guys haven't seen, we do have a whole, and I know you're still I'm still showing my screen. So if you see this top here, it says SOPs, and we have new SOPs alert. So you will see like, these are some of those educational videos that I have here. And then say, if you were to actually click on this Google document, this is what the SOPs look like. So this is actually one that Tiny made using the template, and she let you know this SOP is for DAOs and community managers, and it's how to schedule posts in Discord. Oh, actually no, I made this one, not Tiny, but community members can all use this template. And so, you know, it was a SOP for scheduling posts in Discord, and it's literally a step-by-step process on how to do it. Very simple, but how many people use Discord and might want to know how they can actually schedule posts in Discord? So, you know, I wrote how to actually add the bot in Discord. I have SOPs about how to add bots in Discord, how to vet them, different things like that. And then necessary documents. I think this is a great, and again, why we chose the SOP style. Because one, it makes who it's for clear, what it is clear, a step-by-step process, very simple, necessary documents that you can link, so that again, I made a YouTube video, so you can click on the YouTube video and it'll actually again show you how to actually schedule the Discord videos or schedule posts in Discord. And then the glossary, which are words, what is Discord, or what are bots, if you don't know what that means. And this is something that anybody can create SOPs for. And so let me get back to my thing here. So when it comes to SOPs, if you guys see, so far we've started collecting resources for cryptocurrency. So how to set up a MetaMask wallet, how to send cryptocurrency from one wallet to another, how to add the Polygon network to your MetaMask, all these different how-tos that can be simplified in a very step-by-step process like that. That would be like here's a very organized document on how to get that accomplished. That's the goal. Digital fashion, how to use Clothes 3D, how to make a corset with Clothes 3D, how to make a t-shirt with Clothes 3D, how to make an avatar with Dash 3D, how to make an avatar with Ready Player Me, how to make your shoes, how to make your shoes glow in the dark. All these different how-tos that we can start to really get into the nitty-gritty of. And it's great because with the digital fashion aspect, you guys know we've really started collaborating with a lot of different digital fashion brands, and that they've been great again with how we'll be able to collaborate with so many other organizations in order to help build this resource library. And so then you guys can see, again, we always like to follow that with our educational videos. We have a few more areas of focus that we're collecting the resources for. And then one great thing, actually I won't give that tip away just yet. So who curates these raw resources, right? So we have the RAW DAO, which is the actual community members. And again, we incentivize our community members to actually contribute their resources to this brain. That's what we call it, the brain. And they're incentivized for actually completing tasks such as creating these helpful SOPs or how-to videos. And if you guys know, right now we've been using Wonderverse. So say you were to go under here, submissions, no, governance. So under governance, in our task section, we actually have a Wonderbot where we've been using for Wonderverse. So you can see there's so many different things that you can actually do, and create content around the theme. Create educational content is always one. So you will always be able to receive, our raw points once you actually complete tasks. And what these points actually represent will be something else that we will continue to build out as a DAO. So yes, incentivizing the community to actually use those, but also when we have collaborators, we collaborate with so many amazing organizations and encourage cross incentives to also encourage other communities to help build this epic resource library together. Again, I never try to assume everybody knows exactly where we've been, but one of the very first things when people like myself or Stella Achenbach that has Alana the Web3 girl and Entourage, a lot of us came from the same source when we first started our own individual DAOs. And one of the best things that we really wanted to do as like different DAOs that were coming into the digital fashion space was focus on cross incentives, which is like, say for example, Alana and RAW do a collaboration. Every community member that takes part gets incentives within the Alana community and within the RAW community. Whether that's governance tokens or NFT airdrops or points or whatever, that community uses to incentivize their community, you will also get that for being a part in these kind of collaborations. So we really want to get back again to those kind of principles that say, hey, when we're collaborating with this, even when we talk about like Fashion Friday, we've really been trying to look at like, oh, let's get a POAP so that, we can start to incentivize people that say, hey, if you hold one POAP that all of these different fashion designers were in, that then unlocks certain perks within all those communities as well. And again, really trying to figure out how we can cross incentivize and make these incentives interoperable, because again, that's what it's all about, especially when it comes to collaborating and us being those pillars to show people how to collaborate in effective and efficient manners. So then we go into actually distributing our resources, and this is where our resource website that we've been building comes back into play, because we built that as a DAO. We voted on the name as a DAO. We raised funds to actually buy the domain name as a DAO. So we are going to continue to do this as a DAO. And so some of the things that we actually have all kind of put in that we said we want to be included in this like epic resource website is an open forum where people can ask questions and people can answer. Having peer reviews where you can use a marketplace and then everybody can give their reviews on it so that people can also go there to look at it and get some type of insight on how others thought it was, minting on OpenSea compared to Artisan, or buying an NFT from a certain collection, and just again having a place to peer review all of the different tools that we're using. And even when we talk about using Wonderverse, it's all in the spirit of trying tools in order to offer some type of review, because even if we don't stick with Wonderverse and we end up going with D-Work or with Back to Coordinate or whatever tool we decide to use as the RAW DAO, or multiple tools, think about the education that again we're all gaining from using these tools and understanding and being able to tell another DAO about how they can use this, or other community members about how they can use this. And again, those are our different strengths by understanding those reviews matter. And then news, events in Web3, SOP accessibility, making it easy where anybody can go get the template and upload, whatever template that they've filled out for their SOP that they created. And also having topic-based lessons and workshops more accessible. So with that being said, this is kind of where that ball starts to roll a little faster and get to like, okay, Mo, so we already kind of know about what you've been talking about, but what are we really talking about? So There will be a plethora of open source resources for the general public, yes. But we will also have token gated resources that get unlocked through subscriptions that institutions, businesses, and anyone can unlock by subscribing in order to unlock and access those more extensive curriculums and resources. So what does that mean, right? Again, think about it. We've been talking about actually monetizing again what we're doing, because we do not have a marketplace where we're collecting fees, because we are not doing a lot of these different things. So actually being able to package our physical to digital information and license it out, again, this has been what we've been talking about for a while, and how to actually get that there, especially when it comes to actually, you guys know me, I will go on this is for the high schoolers, this is for colleges. Those have been the main people that I've been saying we are collaborating with from day one. Other NFT projects, that's great. I'm all about supporting and, trying to uplift others along the way as well, because we all trying to get up. But when it comes to RAW DAO and who we're shooting for to be able to collaborate with, it's always been high schools. It's always been universities. Even how we always try to model ourselves after university, because that's the kind of standard we want to be setting when it comes to our education and resources. And that's who we want to be connected with and aligned with as well. And so, again, when it comes to, okay, well, how can we actually partner with these people in a sensible way? It again becomes, how can we share our resources with them? And so, kind of just going back here then, back to that token gated resource, something that I put back on here when it comes to our educational videos is making it on demand content. And this is where it starts to get really juicy, right? So imagine we have our resource website and it has all of the videos on there. You guys know we talked a lot about, like, oh, say you buy an NFT from one of our educators, and that's how you like unlock their full workshop, right? Or full lesson or full course. There we go, their full course, right? So say that's how we organize that, where you can put your free resources out there that anybody can use, and then you can have your ones that are more extensive, that you want to go in a little bit more detail with, that might come with a one-on-one aside from that, or a group session or something like that. And so with that, again, you can buy an NFT, or you can be subscribed and have some unlockable content, and we'll be able to continue to build that out and have, all these resources on there where people can, just watch that very organized information of resources. And that again will be token gated. Certain subscriptions will unlock certain resources, and so on and so forth. And again, those will be the things that we can talk about as a DAO, with how to actually organize that, charge it, structure it, and that's why I even put this presentation together, to really paint the whole picture so that everybody can contribute to this idea, because this is again that bread and butter on raw resources and what we are building and what we have been building with our resource website. So again, when it comes to that, when it comes to the many ways we'll educate, is through interactive networking events. So you guys know our main events will be held in digital spaces. Like right now, we've been doing a lot of NEOs, or even our last one we visited Spatial with Planet Binks and them. But when we do that, we also want to stream it on YouTube. We also stream it on Twitch. And it's again taking that physical to digital and digital to physical, where it's this cipher of information. You can be here or you can be there, but again, we're spreading all this information out to anybody on any place where they are. And that's again what will help us, because not only will we be able to do that, but when it comes to us being able to collaborate with others, we can empower others to be able to be a part of that as well, right? So say for example, right now we're planning a gaming tournament with our stream team. So imagine if we had our gaming tournament set up in Neos, but also every school that is subscribed can also, be a part of the tournament as well. So now during recess or gym class, they've got, the TVs out and are a part of the gaming tournament there, and in every single school, and different things like that. I don't want to get into the super nitty gritty details, but again, just some more ideas to really help you guys understand how creating this physical to digital package is a package, right? And being able to have others be able to tap into that package that we're also creating and be able to use as their leisure and tap in with us and be a part of that in these different ways. And if you look at some of the different future events that we plan on having, we have a vast variety. We'll have gaming tournaments, educational workshops, fashion shows, job fairs, like literally anything interactive and fun. And I know that's why I had mentioned the fashion before, because again, that's a big part of our community, but it's not the only part of our community. We have so many other talented people like builders, writers, gamers, just so many talented people within our community that keeping it open is what also helps us to be able to attract, especially when we talk about going and partnering at somewhere like a university. Not all the college kids are there focused on becoming the next Gucci. You have also architects, you also have coders, you also have programmers. You have so many different people that it actually takes to make this stuff happen, that we want to create events that everybody again feels welcome to and is welcome to actually add to that. So it goes back to how will we distribute these resources then? Our high schools, which is for the youth, universities, which is for the new professionals, and our collaborations, which is again that networking with those that we have been networking with this far, putting these kind of efficient pitch decks together with even more details once we get those kind of ironed out, and trying to actually pitch and work with more universities, work with protocols. I know we could work with the Near blockchain or Polygon blockchain. We could work with these different protocols, different NFT projects, the other Web3 brands and businesses or DAOs or anyone at that point. That's what networking kind of leaves open. So, I did mention the best part now, which is that on-demand library. That's kind of been my little secret touch. And why this is such a secret touch, and why I'm y'all, for real, seriously. If you guys remember, I had shared in the news channel. And the news channel I was watching, if you guys like Shark Tank, I love Shark Tank. It's one of my favorite shows. But Mr. Wonderful has his own angel investing firm basically called Start Engine, and they have a pitch every single month, or maybe it's even bi-weekly. I want to say it's once a month. So I usually watch it once a month. And it was crazy because I shared it with everybody, hey everybody, I'm watching this. If you want to watch it, it'll be a really great thing to watch. But in that video, I was watching this one lady who had a licensed course or a licensed website where she had different courses or lectures about mental health awareness. And again, her bread and butter was because she would license it to the high schools, and no school had ever unlicensed, and she was about to sell it for $134 million. And it's because that's how much of an impact it has if you have great information and it's accessible to these schools, because they are looking for this information and they are willing to pay. And so on that note, I will also say we do have our first event coming up. So Havo is not here, but he is working with, let me pull up their for real name because I always butcher their name, but let me see. Dang it, I should have had this up before. Thanks, Tiny. I seen you say you mentioned you love the presentation. While I'm pulling this up, did anybody have any thoughts, questions, concerns about the whatever I just shared? About the idea, the package, physical to digital, trying to connect with everyone. Let me see.
I think it's a great idea, the whole mental health awareness and dealing with the high schools and the colleges, because you're right, a lot of high schools and colleges don't teach the things that we learn after we graduate, and especially things like finance and crypto and stuff like that. So I think it's a great opportunity. Any way I can help, I'm here to do it.
Yes, exactly. And that's such a great point that you brought up there, acapella. Like, how many times have we been like, man, I didn't learn that in high school, but us being able to have this extra, like, layer on, hey, maybe you have to be a senior. Again, making it, and that's why we even called it token gated, right? Because maybe only freshmen can get to, access certain information, but by a senior, like you said, you should be having those finance classes that is bringing some type of awareness. And or maybe you've had to have taken a different little course in there, but bringing this education that we all have seen, like, man, I wish I would have known this at that point, and being able to curate it like that. We all have kids at different ages. We know what is missing here and what's missing there, and maybe we don't know how to fill in that gap, but can start looking at that network and finding a piece that can fill in that gap. So I definitely agree, and love that input. I'm excited about it too, Tiny. I see you say that. Dang it, I cannot find it. Okay, here's Telegram. There we go. So it is called the Okay, it's called the CEDIM, and that is and so it's basically a university there in Mexico, and basically, Havo has been talking with them about putting together like our first curriculum, because you guys know he's like very focused in the fashion sphere. So especially with like how we've been collaborating with Dress X and the whole like Fashion Friday team. So if you guys don't know, even the Fashion Friday, like we have created like a whole additional group called the DCF, which is like an official way to kind of call all of the different groups that have been contributing to that, which is like RAW DAO, Entourage, Dress X, The Fabricant, Alana, the Web3 girl, Fateful Youth. I feel like I'm Jevels. I feel like I'm still missing a few, but those core, fashion brands or brands that have been in that space, kind of really curating those Fashion Fridays, a way that it's like, how can we put together a curriculum for those fashion students? Because I think it's also a fashion institution as well. It's like that is kind of their focus. So, I mentioned all the names. Perfect. So yeah, it's kind of like a fashion institution. So actually putting like a Web3 fashion curriculum together for them, where it's like, hey, how can we actually help your students as well? And again, that's why I even really like appealing to the universities, because those are those new professionals. Those are those kids actually getting out of college with these skills and spent 4 years on it. I was doing a collaboration with one designer, and when her and I started a year ago, she had just graduated from a fashion institute in Spain, and has now been working for a full year, and she's kind of been feeling bad that she hasn't been kind of doing a lot more in the Web3 space. But I always have to remind her, like, you going to school for 4 years, you already have such an advantage on a designer like myself, who I would not have the time to go to a university for 4 years and learn a lot of the small details that you have learned. And I'm like, that's your a great advantage that you have. And it's a great advantage that a lot of students that will kind of be fresh out have. So just kind of showing them. And I think On Click Closet is a great example in that space, because they always, when they tell their story about how they were college roommates and wanted to kind of use their gifts to find a better answer. And so being able to find those students that are looking for that alternative, maybe they don't want to go work at a standard fashion label, because we've heard the horror stories or have been a part of the horror stories of the traditional market and what it feels like. So being there to show people this alternative route, I'm very excited about. So yes, the CEDIM Fashion Career Headmaster Diana is who Havo has been actually talking with, and actually about putting together a curriculum. So that will be rolled out in September. So I say all that to say that is what our one of our events this season will be, is actually putting together a nice curriculum for that. as well as we have our streaming tournament. So kind of segueing into our next portion, aside from our physical to digital package, which you guys will kind of see me calling the P2D package here and there, and actually how to roll that together and present it and, actually start to build that out. But also the stream team. So with the stream team, I'm going to put together a nice little presentation with that as well, because that has been kind of a mouthful. But that is where we will first start to actually show how we will use this point system that we've been curating, and again, talk with the community about how we can continue to incentivize using this point system, and how the community feels like, what should be unlocked with more points, and, what can be earned at these different stages. So very excited about that. But with the stream team, we need to roll out the application so that we can start building, because one of the biggest things that we're going to have is continuous tournaments as well with our stream team. We have so many different gamers, some that play Metaverse games, Web3 games, Fortnite games, Call of Duty games, Grand Theft Auto games, so many Animal Crossing games, like even streamers that use paint to paint on Twitch Live, or make filters live. I literally follow so many different Twitch streamers that are here within our community that we want to, again, be able to come together and support each other as we're Twitch streaming, and actually also have tournaments and make it fun. And I think it's really cool, especially when we talk about like the youth, and we're talking about the tournaments, and they're like, oh, we can have like a water gun fight in the metaverse, but and like we talked about here, in Neos, you can even have better than the water gun, because the guns have fireworks or hallucinogens or whatever the heck, so that it makes your whole screen look trippy at that point. And it just, again, creating these interactive ways where we can learn and network and grow. I'm very excited about that. And also what I'm excited about is actually being able to build that space together. You guys know when we did the fashion show, that was each designer being able to actually come in and build their own display. We literally built the raw world together, with every designer adding their input and adding a little pizzazz to it that makes it what it is today. And I think by having the stream team come and build that tournament arena, as I would kind of call it, is going to be epic as well, especially keeping in mind with the different games that we'll have, again, the different tournaments that will be coming down the pipeline, where say our first one, like for example, would be Fortnite. So we line up, a day or two of Fortnite tournaments, and then have everybody coming in to Neos to watch the tournament, and play side games, and have winners, and say everybody has to pay $5 to enter the tournament. So then whoever wins, we sub to their Twitch, as they would say, or like different things like that, with actually using those funds to like pour back into the stream team and little fun ways like that. Yes, and Acapella says you would love to be a part of the tournaments. Binks and I use Fortnite to wind down, so whenever you want to start, I'll sign up for the first one. Perfect. Yes, that's awesome. I know Shamgar will be so happy when he hears that, because I'm always like, oh, Fortnite is great, but also play other games. So I'm sure he'll be like, see, Fortnite, I told you. Which is cool. I don't have nothing against Fortnite. I think it's really cool too, especially because I've gotten in the habit of watching him. I love like when you like landing, and it's a whole thing. I get it. And I think it would definitely be cool to have tournaments, and like you said, you guys in it, and you just will get to see a lot of different community members in different ways, and just having different fun stuff like that. So actually building that tournament space, having those tournaments, and keeping that a part of our culture and the things that we do regular, right? Again, this season we're all about our structure and those things that we are going to continue to do regularly and build out from here. So that stream team is definitely one of those. The raw tournaments that we're going to be launching is definitely going to be huge. Our physical to digital package, so people can tap in and be a part of that, will be huge. And then lastly is our weekly events. So back to our raw world, where we actually have been streaming events in there. If you guys don't know, I have had a meeting with Joe, or his first name is Joe, but We actually call him by not the customer guy. Well, you guys know him as the customer guy, Dale's. There we go, Dale's the customer guy. So with that being said, he will start. We've talked about him kind of having his own show, but it's also going to be very short. So something that I've kind of been like trying to encourage people to do is, even if it's segments, like imagine if we had like the weekly news, right? So say on Fridays we have one day that we actually show all of the news, because I had my book club and it was on Wednesday, and then we stream a few musical events with Planet Bink Studios, or Third Planet Studios, I'm sorry. And that's kind of on different days. But what I was thinking, again, aside from the musical ones that are like, of course, when that happens, it's like, hooray, extra day. But having like one day weekly where we stream a bunch of content. So say on like Fridays, right, where we have a raw streaming day, and I kind of was thinking of like a drive-in movie almost, where it's like, and you guys know I always kind of use the TV Guide example as well, where it's like, okay, Fridays, you guys know we stream all the content in the Metaverse. So maybe from like 12 to 2 we're streaming gamers, and we're watching people game during that time. And then maybe at 2 o'clock, that's when we'll stream the book club replay. And then maybe at 2:30 we'll stream another podcast, somebody else that has a podcast, and again, have a whole lineup of different things that we'll be streaming throughout the day, especially because I know so many different people with podcasts. I think that would be cool to say, hey, if your podcast is streaming at this time, you can tell your community members to come in at that time. Maybe you just want to have it up for a bit, and you're watching a few back to back to back. It's kind of when you get like a good TV lineup and you're like, okay, I got a few good things to watch throughout the day, and kind of getting something like that going, where again we can have like a day to really get people in there, have a bunch of shows, really get a lot of excitement built up. And then also, right before we actually started community call, I was talking with Acapella and Planet Binks, and they have a regular a regular live jazz playing. So I think that was great, because especially at that last jazz festival we went to, I'm telling y'all, that was like a whole vibe. Like it was a vibe. So I think that would be really cool and that's on Thursdays. So say, we have Thursdays, like, we will have jazz, and then Fridays we actually have the whole lineup of, our events with streaming everybody's replays. Again, even if you are listening to this and you want to do very short snippets, like I said, for Dell's, it was like, hey, just give a 2 to 5 minute video about a customer service tip, because you think Web3 and customer service is lacking. So now you have content that you can be sharing on Library or on YouTube or on any platform that you're using. Twitch, not Twitch, well, I guess you could put it on Twitch, but Theta TV, again, wherever you want to keep sharing information, or LinkedIn, that's where he's at. So now you have 2 to 3 minute videos that you're sharing. But also we can stream that in the raw world. And again, all the builders in the space who understand customer service is lacking can come tap in for that weekly gem for your segment. And then maybe again a segment from Musashi or Acapella about a tip for building, and maybe a tip from Alana, the Web3 girl, and their group about here's a fun fact about Web3. And I know another girl, Annette, who kind of did like tech news, and it's like probably a 5-minute video about like all the news that's happening in tech this week, and we'll play that. And you can have a moderator that's like, okay, and over to you about this, and over to you about that. And I'm getting very colorful at this point with how I'm trying to paint this image. But again, I want you guys to see how it doesn't have to be you having this whole long segment or this whole big thing. It can be something very simple as even a 30-second shill of you advertising your business. We want to get into the advertising part of it, and the only way we can really get some good advertising, for commercials, is if we have some good shows also to get people in there. And again, also having the stream team in there that's streaming all these different events happening and just bringing it all together. So I think to really kick that off, it would be great to have like a regular weekly lineup, which would be, I think, Thursdays for, the live jazz would be great. And then Fridays for an actual lineup of replays would just be a great way to, again, start getting people into the Neos world regularly. We do still have, 10 designers that have all of their stuff up in our RAW world, and the more events that we have there, the more exposure they'll continue to get, the more people that will be able to see On Click Closet and Iana's Snapchat gallery, or Vlad's book displays, or anything. Especially, you guys know we attach the QR codes, and just want to continue to build on these different things that we are actually building on. And I think even looking at these 3 topics of the physical to digital package, the stream team, and our RAW weekly events, those are literally the 3 things that we really focused on right now. And if we can build those solid foundations for that, and as you guys I like to call the skeleton, and can keep rinse, recycling, repeating, keep growing that stream team and having tournaments, keep having those weekly events and getting more content creators in there, build this awesome physical to digital package and have more and more people use it, again, we are going to be in a super awesome position, especially as founding members here within the community, to be building something epic that everybody's going to want to be connecting to and plugging into. And I always remind people, it's on us to make that network as strong as that can be. And, I always use that example. Elon Musk was going to buy Twitter for $42 billion because of that, how strong that network is. So it's not always, worth it to go and start your own, but we're starting in the ground. And if we put ourselves in a good position, then we'll be all right. And we even talked about kind of making this a social media once upon a time, with how we've kind of done the metaverse, and being, again, a social gathering where people go to congregate, and you kind of check out their storefront and network, and it can still grow into that, guys. So I'd be trying not to say too much, but we can grow into a social media platform. We can grow into a TV station. We can be all of that rolled up into one raw, awesome apple, as I would kind of imagine it myself. So that's really what I had for an update for this week. I know it was kind of a mouthful, kind of a lot. I hope I did not scare you away, Jesse, because I'm excited to have you here building with us, acapella and beings. Always a pleasure to have you guys. And everybody that's listening, and Tiny too, of course, you girl. But everybody that's listening, definitely appreciate it. Definitely see that we get, a good amount of replays for those that aren't able to make it and have been trying different times. We've moved this meeting up to Sundays at 9 a.m. to be very central. And even with that, I will say that my schedule is changing drastically this week. I know I had kind of been shifting it where I would be available in the mornings and then later in the evenings, but as of now, I've made changes with my little one, and we will kind of be co-oping. I cannot think of the word right now, but it's co-teaching, where I'm going with other teachers and their kids, and we're all going to be teaching our kids together. I'm inside my local masjid, so it's pretty cool. It's a nice homeschooling experience, plus them actually being able to socialize. And you guys know me, I love literally homeschooling my little ones. I think it's super exciting to be able to be around others and homeschooling in that. But with that being said, I won't be available until after 2:30 now. So I'll be kind of MIA during the mornings, except for I will be accessible more via text. So I can text and everything. I just won't be on a bunch of phone calls. Twitter Spaces on Wednesdays is something that needs to be adjusted, where we either adjust the time to later that Wednesday, or somebody else can run it. But on that tidbit, that is one thing that was effective for that for me. And orientation hours. You guys know we have orientations every Thursday at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Tiny did say she'd be willing to take on that 7 a.m. one, so I'm thinking I will add an additional one and be there kind of at noon. So now we've got 3 a day and can still keep that orientation kind of growing and flowing. So that was just also another tidbit I was thinking about that I did feel like I wanted to share with everybody, because I'm all about transparency and you guys know what's going on. So, because I know I've been MIA in the Discord, and the chat has been holding it down, and that's what the DAO is all about. I'm a member just like everybody else is a member. I'm just also a Capricorn and like to get stuff done. Okay, so again, I appreciate everybody that's here. Did anybody else have any last questions, thoughts, or concerns before we wrap this up? No? Awesome. Okay, cool. We'll be on the lookout for all the updates. I will share our Raw weekly recap where we share all of the amazing things we've been doing here within our DAO throughout the week. I always try to shout that out. I did also move that over to the roadmap section instead of updates, which it really makes the most sense. I should have been doing that, where it shows, you know, if you ever look at our roadmap, it's a great trail on the progress that we've kind of made thus far, where it has our YouTube replays for all of our past community calls and the different things we've talked about. But again, adding that Raw weekly recap there, where I kind of also give a little tidbit about what's all in the actual article. Again, it kind of just shows what we've actually accomplished that week. So I'm going to definitely continue to post that in the roadmap. So anybody that's looking for what's going on, that's a great place to look. Lots of YouTube videos, lots of resources. So make sure you guys are checking them out, sharing. If you have your own resources, please share throughout the chat all day, every day, and we would definitely repost them on Twitter, YouTube, our weekly recap, or you guys know we're building this resource library. So even if we don't use it at this moment, you guys see how Havo has been updating that fashion hub, and that news is so important. And you see different members popping up like, oh, hey, I was looking for this information, and here you are sharing it. So, you know, if there's something in your heart that you want to be building, and Raw is here for that. Raw is here to support that any way that we can. So reach out and let's start building. I hope everyone has a great rest of their Sunday. We'll talk soon. Peace.
Have a great Sunday, everybody. Glad to be here.
See you guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Have a good day.